Last week, Oklahoma saw several laws go into effect, including a ban on tanning beds for kids under the age of 18 years old. You know, skin cancer is the most common cancer in the United States. But was this move necessary? Is it too much government intrusion? Joining us this morning is the senator who wrote this bill into law himself, Senator Irvin Yen. Good morning, sir.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm very interested in this conversation, and I want you to take me kind of just behind this law and what exactly is in place for Oklahoma now.
It basically says that anyone under 18 cannot utilize a commercial tanning bed. So it doesn't interfere with tanning beds at home if somebody had one.
Not many people do.
No, and they shouldn't.
Sure. What if a parent is with a child who wants to go tanning?
No.
They can't bring them in and say, I approve of this?
And you know, there are some people that say, you know, we should not be a nanny state. We should not be telling people what to do, how to live their lives. But what do nannies do? Nannies take care of children. And that's who we're talking about here, children, people under 18. I have 5 kids. Thank goodness none of them have ever indoor tanned, and I don't think they'd even consider it. But, you know, it's sort of like the seatbelt law, you know. Children, especially teenagers, think they're bulletproof. They think, oh, I can tan and this won't hurt me.
Sure. But do you think this law that you wrote, do you think this is telling those kids or those parents, you can't make your own decisions when it comes to that? Parents, you don't know what's best for your child.
It's not, do we tell parents, it's okay? Do parents tell their children, it's okay to play around lead paint? Is it okay to play around asbestos? Is it okay for parents to not put their child in a baby seat? No. This is about saving lives. And melanoma it can be caused by indoor tanning, and is. And it's the deadliest form of skin cancer, and it's increasing. In 2016, there were like 500 cases in Oklahoma. This year, we're on track for 750.
Wow. And why are you so passionate about skin cancer?
Because
I know you're a doctor. I know you're a doctor. Yes.
I can tell you that virtually every doctor I know would have written this bill if they had the chance. It's a no-brainer for a physician.
We did have a lot of viewer questions come in about this, and I do want to get to this first one. This is from Susan. She says, another right taken away from parents in the name of safety. Parents need to parent their children, not our state. What do you say to Susan?
Parents do need to do that, but they don't sometimes. And other states have passed laws that said, okay, let's say parental choice, they can decide for themselves. Well, it does not decrease indoor tanning. It doesn't work. Other states have tried. And we have become the 14th state, I think, maybe 15th state.
14th in D.C.
Yeah.
Have you heard a lot of uproar from parents, or have you heard mostly praise?
Mostly praise. Absolutely. And actually the uproar that I got was really from my legislative colleagues who are more conservative, we'll say, than I am.
What about the tanning salons themselves? It's $1 billion business.
Actually, they called me right after, well, when we were in the process of passing this, and they didn't complain at all.
Not a single salon.
No.
How is that? I mean, more than 1 million people visit every day. It's $1 billion.
A large chain called and asked, okay, does this affect spray-on tanning? That was their question.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't, no. Now, I will say, spraying a chemical on your skin is probably not the best thing, but you know, women have worn makeup for a gazillion years, and spray tanning is much, much safer than going into a tanning bed and having these UV lights that cause cancer in your skin.
But how have you not heard uproar from those businesses? I mean, I would imagine, wouldn't the biggest portion, or a large portion at least, of their customers be kids, high schoolers?
Well, actually, if you look at the numbers, I think 1 in 9 high school girls tan in America. And then if you look at seniors, it's actually 1 in 6. So I guess, you know, they're getting ready for the prom or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, it was surprising. We didn't get a lot of complaints from the actual commercial companies.
Yeah, that is very surprising to me when they are in the business of offering people those services. I find that
that's
odd.
because they understand that their business is carcinogenic.
Also got a lot of comments about the timing of this. And Richard, if we can pop this one up, Richard Kirkland wrote in and said, will that help fix the budget crisis? Good grief. A lot of people want to know the timing. There seems like there are a lot more bigger fish to fry, so to speak. And how do you respond to that?
This is about lives. This is about children's lives. What's bigger than that? The budget's a huge deal, yes. And it's about lives too, especially when you're talking about money for health care. But this is about lives, children's lives. Because we had a girl roaming around the Capitol talking to the legislators who had twice had malignant melanoma, twice. And when she was a teenager, she indoor tanned a lot. And her mother said, I wouldn't have let her do it if I didn't know how dangerous it is. Well, with this law, I think Oklahomans know how dangerous it is.
And you've also been very vocal about taking away exemptions for vaccinations.
Yes.
So has health, since you are a doctor in our state capitol, has health really been your main focus in everything you do and write?
Yes, I'm the only physician in the state Senate. And I keep stumbling upon things that I go, why is it this way? Like, we have not added any vaccines to the school mandated vaccines in Oklahoma for like 20 years. There's a lot of vaccines that need to be added. Ask any physician.
Last question to you. Things do seem a bit tumultuous at the Capitol. Special session, can't fix a budget deal. I know this just, this just came down. What's your response to everything happening right now?
Well, if we would do what I've been saying since the beginning of this year, we could get a budget and go home.
Which is what?
And
what have you been saying?
Yesterday, the Senate did pass a bill. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it is a compromise. And there's good and there's bad about it. But I think Oklahoman voters will understand that it's something that we need to do. It does raise money and it spreads the pain over a lot of different people. And that's what I've been saying since the beginning of this year.
All right, Senator Irvin Yen, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us.
Pleasure.
As of last week, Oklahomans, kids under the age of 18, no longer able to use tanning beds.
It will save lives, promise.
He says it'll save lives.